Welcome to a brand new episode of Frogs Hollow TV. My name's Toby Cooper, and again I'd like to welcome to the panel Geordie Batchelor. How are you, mate?
Good, thanks, Todd. Thanks for having me back, mate.
Not a problem, mate. Again, we have a huge show planned tonight with full reviews of the recent Milbrodale Mountain Classic, the Esk Short Course, and the SGORA 250 down there in South Australia. Insights from special guests Glen Ackroyd, Nicoll and Sandy Bowman, along with looking ahead to this weekend's Waikerie Hotel Riverland Enduro and Zoom's Cup at Inglewood, all which is made possible by incredible Frogs Hollow TV partners and contributors. So, George, straight into last weekend's Headworld Milbrodale Mountain Classic, round 2 of the 2025 New South Wales Off-Road Racing Championship. 60 keen starters, and it was Glen Ackroyd and Mick Price who stole the show, becoming the first side-by-side crew to win at the iconic mountain. And I know you watched a fair bit of it. It was just a great performance.
Watched a fair bit of it, mate. Yeah, there was a couple of close battles there over the weekend, but Ackroyd too good over the end of the weekend, eh?
Yeah, no, he got the job done in style. I was lucky enough to catch up with the champion himself, to talk all things Milbrodale. Enjoy. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Yourself?
Good, going well. Firstly, congratulations. A big win for yourself, Mick, and the team at Milbrodale last weekend. Must have been a good feeling crossing the line at the mountain in first place.
Yeah, it was, mate. Actually, it was. I didn't expect to win it. Honestly, we just sort of went more for seat time, really. So it was good to get the champion as well. It was better.
And you won the prologue. You're never really headed from there. I think Huxley got past you late on Sunday afternoon, but you did what you needed to do and just stay behind him to the checkered flag. And I think you won by around 30-odd seconds. But tell us about your run.
Yeah, it was good. We started Rich off the line, and Rich got us the first corner. And we got him back to the second lap, just up the hill there, and he was a bit wide, but he struck inside of him, and see you later. And then we broke the race sway bar, I think it was the start of the third lap. Then we sort of dropped a bit of time there, so then Huxley caught us, and we sort of stuck with him. It was good.
Oh, it was great to see. The new Can-Am, mate, outside of Fink last month, it's almost been a flawless run for you. And Mick with 3 side-by-side Australian round wins in a row. The new Can-Am Maverick car, you must be happy with how it's working.
Oh, mate, it's a great little machine, definitely. Compared to the old X3, yeah. Can't fault it, mate, honestly. Can't fault it.
Love Day next, mate. Currently second in the side-by-side Australian Championship behind Greg Campbell. It's always a tough weekend down there. What's the plan? Like always, just go hard and get out front and
try our best, mate. Yeah, try our best every go. So it's one of my favourite tracks, so we always seem to go pretty good there, which is good. So just do what we do.
I'll look forward to seeing you down there, mate. Maybe a few mini beers, get in a bit of sync.
Maybe a few mini beers, maybe. It's not the cars get cleaner.
Oh, one of the best bits of ORC footage I've seen for a long time, that interview at Cable. Anyway, mate, thanks for joining me on Frogs Hollow TV. Congrats on your win at Milbrodale Mountain Classic. All the best in Love Day in a few weeks and for the rest of the season.
Appreciate it, Dave. Thanks, mate.
So, great bloke of the sport, George. Always an entertainer on and off the track, I can tell you that. Doesn't mind a few mini beers. But, look forward to seeing them at the track at Love Day in a few weeks' time. So, Matty Huxley, for the second time in his career, finished in second, but couldn't extend his lead enough on Ackroyd to take the title. But he did it behind Matty Martin. I think it was in 2018.
Yep.
First across the line. But when he gets that big car dialed in, I know you've seen him at Warrior over the years, he packs a punch, doesn't he?
Matty does, mate. He can drive, but there's he's got the horsepower to match it. So
yeah. You think more suited to like a more open track, like I look at a St George or even a Warrior, a bit more open compared to the Milbrodale Mountain. But obviously, put in a massive effort on Sunday afternoon. He got past Glen Ackroyd and then had obviously the slower cars to negotiate past. He sort of come across the finish line around 30 seconds ahead of Ackroyd, started 30 seconds behind him in the long course.
Yep.
But just wasn't quite enough to draw in the deficit. And but congratulations to Matty Huxley and Toby Turnbull, great combination. And I think they'll definitely enter Warrior in a couple of months' time as one of the favourites.
Yep.
Nathan Shivers was at his consistent best again to finish in third and now has the championship lead in New South Wales. Ultra consistent. He actually drives the Ackroyd X3 Can-Am, so Glenn sold in that car. always thereabouts. Finished second at Colo. I mean, Jason Richards is another one. I know you sort of followed his times, and he missed the podium spot by 5 seconds there in fourth.
5 seconds, mate. Yeah, he's a little bit unlucky there. I think he ended up with a flat tyre on that long course section on Sunday, and that knocked probably 6.5 minutes off him. But I'll tell you what, if he kept going, I reckon he would have went close. So you see that number one there, you're going to keep pushing.
Last year's champion, Ali Howes, crossed the clear fifth outright. She was the third fastest car on the long course on Sunday afternoon. So Ali continues just to be at a brilliant best, really. Doesn't really put a foot wrong. I know she had some brake issues on Saturday in the medium course, which sort of held her back a bit, dropped her sort of down around that 10th, 12th spot. But
she's always up that pointy end come Sunday, but, mate, if everything's going half all right, they're always up there.
Dave Chandler, another to have some issues. I think he had a flat tyre. I think he had some brake issues. This wasn't his weekend, but these are the sort of weekends, George, as you know, been around a long time, to still come home at Milbrodale Mountain Classic in 8th spot.
Mate, sometimes it's just not your weekend, but, to still finish in the top 10, that's a true effort for the weekend, eh?
Also, a shout out to Clinton Glennon, who crossed in 6th spot first in the sports light. That's the ex-Dean McGinley Tatum from down in Griffith. As we saw, one of our favourites on the show, Davey Mendham, back in all those years ago, started 17th on the grid Sunday morning and ended up taking the win. I know you spoke to Dave. How did his weekend unfold?
I spoke to Dave on the weekend, and he reckons it was a pretty good weekend. I said he had a couple of little moments out there on the long course and that, and had a bit of an issue with a throttle cable. But from the footage I've seen, just from watching it from home, like there were some pretty good class battles between the Class 10s and the Class 2s. Like I think the Class 10s... Dave and Clinton were starting off side by side in, I think it was a medium course, and then with the Class 2s, I think there was 4 within 2 grids of each other.
Yeah, that's right.
That's good racing class-wise.
Other class winners from the Mountain Classic, Richard Wilton held on for the Super 1650 victory. Darren Wright in extreme four-wheel drive, and Lucky Matusi was the final car to finish full distance in his production four-wheel drive vehicle.
New Pajero.
Yeah, he just loves it, doesn't he? Yeah. Great to see you, Lucky. Keep going around, mate. It's a pleasure to watch you. Now in round 4, the 2025 ARB Mickey Thompson Queensland Championship, the Emmavale short course held at Esk only a couple of weekends ago, and it was Zach and Kieran Marsh, the brothers, who took home the victory in their new Can-Am Maverick R, only their second outing in their new Can-Am. Marsh's first win since Mount Larkham in October 2023, and George, one of the most picturesque layouts in off-road. I know you saw some footage and some pictures there. They raced there around 10 years ago, I think, the Socorro Club, and now the Gympie Auto Sports Car Club's taken the Queensland Championship there again, and it looks beautiful, a lot of off-camber stuff, a lot of tree lines, a lot of open paddocks. Zach Marsh actually had a rollover, would you believe, on the Sunday morning out the back, and luckily got back on its 4 wheels. But Zach Marsh, I know you followed a bit on that over that weekend. He was second overnight to Aaron Nicoll, but he just sort of got in the lead Sunday morning and just consolidated, and he's one of Queensland's fastest. For sure.
Got out and led from the front, mate. Yeah, he seems to be able to know how to put the car in the right spots at the right time, eh?
So well done to Zach and his brother Kieran. Great to see you back on the top of the dial. Aaron Nicoll almost pulled off his first outright victory in his Can-Am X3, backing up his 2 fourth-place finishes from Dalby and Burdekin. So another consistent performance. It's funny how you can sort of go through troughs. You have a couple of years of a lean run, and all of a sudden things are just working out for Aaron Nicoll, who's now leading the Queensland Championship over Tony Falaba and Dave Luffman. So a lot to play out for Aaron Nicoll. Could be his finest year in off-road racing, but hats off to him. Class 8 stalwart Christian Trews, delivered another huge performance in his patrol, crossing 30 seconds behind in third. I know you saw some footage of him. You're super impressed with him in his tin top.
He's out of control in that Class 8. It's impressive to watch.
I remember we were racing at the Federal Short Course one year, and Derek said, starting behind a tin top, is ever going to get past him? I said, I don't think you have to worry about that, mate. You watch him go, and he just took off like a scored cat. Derby runner-up Tony Falaba locked in 4th spot, 10 seconds ahead of Conroy Devine in 5th, newcomer to the side-by-side field. Good to see Tone. He's so close to win at Derby, finished second. Very close to the win at Burdekin. He was almost there, and then that late mechanical issue. But
well, it's not very often you don't see Tone come home in that top 10 region, no matter where he is, mate. He's a very tough competitor, and he always knows how to put the car up there.
No, couldn't agree more. Stephen Kildee, Aaron Phillips, Andrew Murphy, Tyler Human, Colin Gavin and Josh Pyle were other class winners. And also a special mention to Luke Brandon, who's a big follower of the show. Good to see him back on the track. He took home the Class 6S, which is the stock standard side-by-side class there in Queensland. Also, 2 future champions took to the track, Cameron Krog and Jack Musico. I think Cameron Krog took the victory. Had a little bit of roll over himself.
No, it's good to see it back in the sport. Like, there was nothing like that when we were around, and it's really good to see. And hopefully, it's still around when my kids are old enough and I can get them in it. Yeah.
I think it's something that New South Wales and other states can definitely look at moving forward.
Yeah.
So it turned out to be another great weekend for Queensland Championship leader Aaron Nicoll, and I caught up with him after his runner-up finish at Esk. Check it out.
It's a pleasure to welcome on to Frogs Hello TV for the first time recent Esk runner-up and current Queensland AOI Championship leader Aaron Nicoll. How are you, mate?
Good. Thanks for having us. Glad to be on.
No worries, mate. You're having a stellar season. Congratulations on your result at Esk and also at Dalby and Burdick early in the year. You must be stoked with your start to 2025.
Yeah, cheers. It's certainly been a dream run so far. I mean, we've had to pretty much put no spanners on the car at any of those races. It's been brilliant, really good.
And tell us a bit about your run at Esk. I know you're the overnight leader. Zachy Marsh got ahead of you on the Sunday in his new Can-Am, but I know you were stoked to finish second behind him. The track looked like fun, and tell us a bit how it panned out.
Yeah, it was a great track there, and I think it really suited the sort of driving I like, a bit like the current Kempsey track where it's in the bush there and quite tight and technical. That pretty much filled up half the track at Esk, and I love that sort of racing there. It's really good fun, and it was great to be. I guess we led from the prologue or heat 1 as they call it on those short courses, and then we pretty much went back and forth with Zach, and at the end he was a bit too quick for us, but it was awesome to get the second and come on with that for sure.
Aaron, I watched you race the old Class 3 Ribmaster when you first started out back in the Kempsey days. I know you've done a couple of Royales and then you went to Milbrodale, sort of southeast Queensland events. It's only been the last few years you've taken to the wheel of the Can-Am. How has that change been for you?
Big change for sure. At first, it certainly took us a little bit to get used to it. Totally different driving style. Just the way you attack everything is completely different. So that took a while to get used to for sure. It's taken a little bit to get the car to how we like it, to get some things changed over and get the tuning right and that. But I think, a little bit of last year and certainly this year, it's really sort of feeling natural and getting in a good rhythm with the car for sure.
And you're off to Moranbah next weekend for round 5 of the Queensland AORA Championship. Always a great event up there, hosted by the Mackay Off-Road Club. Any expectations or just keep doing what you're doing this year?
I guess for us, I never try and go in, wanting to win something or be the fastest. I guess, as you said, to your point, I've always just tried to finish the races and be consistent, and that's what we'll certainly go up there trying to do. Obviously, the higher up the order, the better it is for the championship, and to get a trophy is even better. But really, like any race, I just want to finish, be there at the end, and take home the points.
And talk about the championship, and you are leading the way in Queensland. You've got a couple of Class 1 veterans behind you, Tony Falaba and Dave Luffman, who've been around the sport a long time as well. Heading into the sort of second half of the season with a couple of big races coming up, the Gundy 500 and the Don River Dash. So lots to look forward to, mate. That's all we have time for. Thanks for joining us on Frogs Hollow TV. Congrats on your season, and good luck to you and your team for Moranbah and the rest of 2025.
Thanks for having us.
No worries. There he is, Aaron Nicoll, the Queensland Championship leader.
So thanks again, Aaron, for joining us on the show, mate, and all the best to you and your team as you head to Moranbah next weekend. Round 2 of the 2025 SGORA Series and round 1 of the South Australian Off-Road Championship was held last weekend. The SGORA Multi-Club and Sprint 250 then at beautiful Port Germain, Jordan. 21 starters took to the track. Only a small field, but there was some quality racing. Watched a bit of live stream courtesy of Lyndon Wilson over the weekend. It was Evan Lampard, who another competitor driving the Prolite Southern Cross, that took the SGORA round just proved too strong, and I think he's won a couple of events now over the last couple of years, and sort of hasn't reached that national stage yet. But I think he's just very content to doing his sort of South Australian events, and great, always entertaining to watch. And I've watched him down there before, and took a 2-minute 20-second victory over Darren Marks, the Victorian, who has ex-John O'Patterson car.
Yep.
People that have John O'Patterson,
Yeah, okay.
fellow New South Wales competitor. So, yeah, shout out to Evan and Darren Marks, and Cy Heaslip was a further 3 minutes adrift in third spot. But yeah, I don't know if you got a chance to look at it, but it's down there on the Spencer Gulf. You can sort of see the bay over the back of the track. With high tide brings the water up. I think the sort of the back straight of the 16-kilometre circuit went under twice in the week before the race, just due to a bit of rain and high tide. So that's how close it is to the ocean, basically.
Sounds like a nice part of the world, mate.
It is, yeah. I was lucky enough to go down there, and 2 races there a year. They have the Mini Pave 250 coming up in the end of August. Brenda and Ian Barkler put on a great show, and I was fortunate enough a couple of years to go down and help commentate the race. And it was a weekend I always remember. And shout out to the Barkler family down there, also supporters of the show. So great to see. Alice Springs Sportslight compared to Darren Wright and Brenton Galash rounded out the top 5 in the multi-club event. And Jody Waitley narrowly held on for side-by-side honours with Ben Passmore and David Bird taking class honours. Just shows you, though, only a small field, but some great results. And I know you had a look at Tony Waitley, got off to a hot start in his Can-Am Maverick R with Dougie Carthew, but he just, quick times.
Yeah, laid some pretty good times down in Section 1 by the looks of it, but a bit of a DNF there in Section 2, and I know it looks like he would have been up there by the end of the weekend, I'd say.
So, obviously, the multi-club event, they did 11 laps of the weekend. I think it's around 16.5 kilometre layout.
Yep.
They did the track in reverse this year. They got that's how sort of the way the track lays out. They got a reverse track, and then they do it in clockwise, and this year they did it in reverse. Cy Heaslip took the outright state championship win. So they did the final 3 laps of the weekend, so 14 laps in total, 2 hours and 43 minutes, over Darren Wright and Chloe Wright from Alice Springs, and Benjamin McNamara and Wayne Pascoe from Tumby Bay crossed in third outright. Michael Lesk, Tim Lally, Adrian Gardner, another shout out to him, and Sam Gardner in the 1055 Sportslight, and the new Honey Badger. I know he's been working on that for a couple of years, the Luke Erceg build. Jody Waitley also, Jeff Brennan, Stephen Dennis, Ashley Foote, other finishers. But that was the SGORA 200 Multi-Club and Sprint down there at Port Germain. Also, into some news from around the ground, Jord. Congrats to Jason Richards for taking the win at the Gap 150 last weekend. We saw that courtesy of the Griff Off-Road Club. They had 3 videos up courtesy Show and Go Photography and a bit of live in-car stuff. Love Day 400 entries, round 3 of the ORC close this week, so get those in there. A bit short on numbers at the moment, but I expect that to sort of rise over the coming days. And
they'll come in.
Plannings to get down to that one. And also next weekend is the Moranbah Short Course round 5 of the Queensland ARB Nicky Thompson Championship. And I've been out there a few times. Mick Misford and the Mackay Off-Road Club put on a great show up there. So if you're in Queensland, head out to that. Whilst entries for both the Gundy 500 and the Don River Dash up there in Bowen are also open for competitors. So there's lots of racing coming up, and sort of in that busy part of the season, Jordan, and then it won't be long and the Warrior will be back around.
Should be good, mate. It's good to see when they're all coming through thick and fast. Like,
plenty of racing.
Yeah, perfect.
You could race every weekend if you,
if you could.
So straight into our first event preview of the show. This weekend's Waikerie Hotel Riverland Enduro Round 2 of the ARB Australian Off-Road Championship, 65 starters. And George, it is a quality lineup. It's also round 5 of the Southern States Off-Road Club Challenge, and also a round of the AORA South Australian Off-Road Championship. So another weekend where we've got a few different multi-club state championship, and then of course the Australian round as well. First national event at the new venue, New Wells Station, I think it's called, and first at Waikerie since 2018. They've held a state round the last couple of years. Aaron Habe won last year. I think Carl Habe won in 2023. So Habe domination since its return. The track has a bit of everything from fast sandy whoops, scrub section, fast open straights. The dust is going to be a big issue over the weekend. I was talking to a few people this week, and it is going to be a big factor. It makes the 14-kilometre prologue on Saturday morning just ever more important. And led by round 1 victor Clayton Chapman and Streaky Bay young gun Kyle Tucker, multi-time Waikerie champ Aaron Habe, and Toddy Lehman from down there. I think they're sort of the 4 could really fight it out this weekend. I think it could be a buggy weekend, George.
I think you're right, mate. was having a look through a bit of the entry list there, and my tips are sort of Kyle Tucker, and I think you can't write off Clayton Chapman, but like he had a pretty good run at Rainbow, and at the end of the weekend. But you're looking at Stephen Graham, like he's always got that Class 10 up there.
Isn't he consistent, isn't he?
Mate, and he drives
So
the
good.
wheels off that
I
thing.
know.
Yeah.
And he was second at the recent Rainbow, so
Yeah.
he's currently second in the championship. Mark Burrows family having the rest of the season off, I've heard. So
Okay.
it's first time they haven't competed at ARB Championship for a while, but no, hats off to them.
You can never ride off Greggy Gartner either, mate. Like
No.
if he gets that big truck out in front, you
100%.
won't catch him in that dust.
And he won the last Australian round at Waikerie in 2018 when he had the new guys. Obviously, it's got a few years behind it now, but after a really tough couple of years for the Gartner family, it's great to see Greg back out on the circuit. Another one to keep an eye on is Todd Lehman. I think he's won 3 or 4 of his last 5 races in his new Jimco, the Shane Elphinstone Jimco from WA, which is an extra VR car. I think he'll be right there. He finished third at the Pines last year. We mentioned Aaron James. Good to see Craig Barnett on the list. Seaton Battle, which is Kent Battle's brother, debuting the New Element.
The New Element one, yep.
Glenn Pike's quick, but Brent Martin's another one. I mean, we've all seen what Brent Martin's done over the last few years. Multiple-time ARB Australian champion. Believe, talking to him firsthand, he's gone back from the 4.5 litre back to the 3.5 litre this weekend, so step back to Pro like Class 1. So it's going to be great to see him back on the circuit, and also young Tom Owen, which is Glen Owen's son, having a run this weekend. Toby Waitley is driving his dad's Can-Am R this weekend from Loveday, so keep an eye on him, especially in the prologue. I think he can do some serious damage in the prologue. Not going to say he's going to win it, but I think he'll definitely be in the top 10.
He'll be up there, mate, yeah.
A few of the prologues, Simon Tucker, which is Kyle Tucker's dad. He's got number 2 on the car for a reason. He finished the ARB Championship second last year. Jay Mitchell from Griffith, he finished second behind Richards on the weekend at the Gap 150.
There wasn't much between them.
And that's the Australian Championship winning car from last year, the ex-Mel Brand or Lumicraft, so I expect big things from him. Matty Curtis, Evan Lampard is always thereabouts, and got some quick Class 10s, like you said, Bowie Graham, Russell Harnett, Stewie Chapman, a couple of Queenslanders, always thereabouts. So, Jord, my tip, to be honest, there's a lot of potential storylines, but I like Aaron Havey. He always seems like a safe bet to me. And although the quality around him, I think things can go his way on the terrain that he knows ultra well. More experience on that Waikerie sort of Riverlands sort of dirt than anyone. Growing up in South Australia and all the racing he's done over the last decade or so, the Havey family. So, I think he'll take some serious beating. I like Kyle Tucker as well. I think it could be like a Class 1 or Class 10 that sneaks their way up on the podium. We're also fortunate enough to get the thoughts of Championship host Sandy Bowman prior to Waikerie, so take a look.
Welcome everybody, another episode of Frogs Hollow TV, and it's all about Waikerie this weekend. So I think we're going to have a cracker out at the Waikerie Riverland Enduro, round 2 of the ARB Australian Off-Road Racing Championship, round 5 of the Southern States series there, and I think we're going to see a good bit of driving out there this weekend. The weather looks like it's fantastic. Last time I looked, it was about 18 degrees on all 3 days, so that should be good if that can hold out. I think we've got some things, the prologue, it's about a 14k short course, long enough to sort out some of the big guns, and get a good seating order. Then they've got that's the prologue. Then they've got a short course. My pick, and it's good to see people like this year, I'm just about to say my pick, but it's good to see Greggy Gartner back in the seat. That'll be an awesome watch. We've got, obviously, everyone's favourites at the moment, Clayton Chapman, Adam Maguire, they're killing it. Even Kyle Tucker, he had a cracker run at Rainbow until he had that little issue later on in the race. And I think if he holds it together, no doubt, he's showing some real form at the moment, in my eyes. We've got a noob Seaton Battle in his element. Havey's back out in another element. So I think we'll see a cracker weekend this weekend, mate. And I reckon to have my pick off the top, I can't go past Clayton and Adam. And I'm gonna say Kyle Tucker if he can hold it together, and probably Greggy Gartner. I just mentioned them, but I reckon those 3 are going to be at the pointy end. So let's see what happens, and let's all enjoy the weekend. Get down there if you're in the area and have a look. It's going to be an absolute ball terror. So we'll see you there. Round 2 of the ARB Australian Off-Road Racing Championship, folks. Can't wait.
So now we'll turn our attention to the 2025 Zooms Cup 240 over at Inglewood this weekend. Round 2 of the MA Queensland Championship. 21 starters taken to the 16-kilometre circuit batch. And, I mean, it's only a small field again, hosted by SGORA, but it's got some depth to it. There's some potential outright winners. I mean, Chris Sollett, Dave Skinner, a couple of the sports-like competitors coming down from North Queensland. Dave Luffman's there, Laurie Svensson, Matty Lawless, Simon Knight. Always, I mean, Jamie O'Toole, Stevie O'Toole. Richard Tasman's always quick. But who do you like this weekend at the Zooms Cup?
Mate, I can't go past Laurie Svensson. Like, we went across and watched last year, and he was quick until he broke down. But he was sending it. And also Dave Luffman, I can't go past him. Like, he was pretty consistent there last year as well. Like, he was right up there, and I think he might have had a little rollover. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
he's got the honey badger too.
Yeah,
does a lot of racing, and I talked about this with Darren Wells before. I think the more seat time you have over the course of the year, the sort of the better your results seem to be. We see Troy Duff's also there in the Chenoweth. He's got the beautiful new car at home. I'm not sure exactly what's going on there, but Troy Duff will be out in his dad's single-seat Chenoweth, which will be good to see. Young Kraj, which is the last year's Queensland Aurora champion, makes his first run of 2025. Of course, Tooley from Gundy and Tate Svensson. Good to see Tooley back on the track in the race car. It's got a bit of Warrior history into that car.
Good to see the old race car out there kicking about, mate.
Gunner Winnie's had a few winners. I know Jamie Knight's won a couple of times, or Naps win it before as well. Had a good run there last year. And, it's going to be a nice event, and we'll hopefully get over there and Saturday and check it out. If Tate Svensson can get to the finish line, I think he will be the one to beat in his pro light. Always very quick. We've seen growing up watching Tate perform at the highest level and take home some big scalps. But he's had a few gearbox issues over the last couple of years, and I just think if he can put it all together, I think he'll be there on top. But I'm going to go with side-by-side newcomer Conroy Devine to take the Zooms Cup this weekend. It's a bit of a left field tip from me, but he came 5th at Esk a couple of weekends ago with some serious pace ahead of him. I know he went in the limp mode a couple of times up there as well in his Can-Am. So shout out to Conroy. I know he's new to the sport and he loves Frogs Hollow TV, so thanks, mate. So that's a wrap on the show tonight, George. A massive thanks again for you coming on, mate, to the panel. It's been, great to get your insight, and moving forward, I think it's going to work well. Good luck and safe racing to all those competing at Waikerie and Inglewood this weekend. But more importantly, stay tuned to the next episode of Frogs Hollow TV. Cheerio.